And at the same time, I was going daily to this ice cream store, again in Marshall, Texas. And there was this nice looking girl who would always give me a smile, a young lady at the ice cream shop when I'd buy ice cream. But one day I'd gotten there, and one of the girls who helped her just bust out laughing. Boy, she burst out laughing. I kind of laughed again. Then I looked at the other girl that I kind of had my eye on. She just started sniggling. I said, what is wrong with them? And I looked up. I had forgot to put my skull cap on. There I was sitting there with a bald head. I never went back to that ice cream shop. I never did. But after a couple of days, I had to have a long talk with myself. I said, here you are. You got your big shoulders. And you got about more than $800 in the bank. And you got a nice car, a Cadillac car. And you ashamed of yourself for something like that? And I never wore hair again. I never did. Not because I thought it was nice looking, but the idea, I looked around and fumbled around in the mirror, and I recaptured something that my mother loved about me, my face. She liked me. And I started to see myself and like myself again too. That's why I never wore hair again. I fell in love with me. And I never was ashamed of it. And I never grew hair again. Strange thing though, the last few years, I had this mind to get some dreadlocks. And I thought, maybe I'll buy a wig because the little bird started stealing more of my hair. And just a message to everyone, like yourself. Something goes wrong with you, always like yourself. If you like yourself, others will look at you and say, you know, I like her as much too. I still like him. Thank you. This is George Foreman. Philippians, the 4th chapter, the 12th and the 13th verse. Boy, that day I remember telling my friends, I was in the old Job Corps days, sitting in the dormitory where I lived. And I spoke to the guys. I said, you know, one day I'm going to be champion of the world. And they got upset with me. They said, look, it's all right for Doc Brodus to say that, George, and talking all that crazy talk, but don't you go around saying that you're going to be champion and you're going to be that. You better stop that. They were sincerely trying to tell me not to say that. And then years would pass. After I'd had a great boxing career, things had gone real well for me. I won some and lost some. And then I said to my friends, you know, I want to be a preacher now. I'm going to give up boxing and become a full-time preacher. You can't do that. You're a boxer. No, you just can't turn your back on something that you're doing well like that. You can't give it up and be a preacher. What kind of preacher are you going to be when you're a boxer? It seemed everything I wanted to do, it would always be met with a little objection. You can't do it, George. You shouldn't do it. Now, I got ready to go into sales. And I really want to be a good salesperson. I'd learned to sell by preaching on the street corners, telling everybody about God and telling everybody about Jesus Christ. And I was selling a product that I truly believed in. Then I went into the Madison Avenue stage of my life where I was selling. Everybody said, you can't do it this way. You can't even put your picture on a box. All time, people telling me what I couldn't do and what I could not do and can do. So, you see, in life, we all have to decide what you want to do. We can all give it everything we want. Give it all and give it a try. Even you have to try 3 or 4 things at a time. Give it a try. Never allow anyone to tell us what we can't do. That's why that verse I gave you is very important. Read it. Anything we want to do is possible. Now this is George Foreman at the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ. It's possible. Way back in the 70s, and at this day I had just found the good Lord, and I must have been about 28 years old. But I was able, as I going into the ministry and everything, I shaved my mustache. I had no pride in that. And then I bought clippers. I was not willing to go back into the barbershop in those days and listen to what people had to talk about. I stayed out of there, so I bought some Sears clippers, and they had you could put it on the lower level where you can cut your hair low on the side, and then on the top you put it on and you could trim it on top without cutting much off. And I did that for a while, but one day while not paying much attention, I was cutting my hair and a big S went in my head. And I didn't know that the clippers had, the little separators had fallen off. And I looked in the mirror, I tried everything I could to shape it right. But it looked like something had happened to me. So I got the clippers and cut every drop of hair off my head just to make it even. And I said to myself, I was living in Marshall, Texas alone. I had this little skull cap, the little beanie that you put on your head. I said, nobody will see it. I'll just wear it like this until it grows back. And at the same time, I was going daily to this ice cream store again in Marshall, Texas.
Legendary man, that is George Foreman, has died aged 76. According to his family, Foreman, known as Big George in the ring, competed for decades starting in the 1960s, winning gold at the Olympics and numerous belts, including the world heavyweight title twice. He lost his first title to Muhammad Ali in the famous Rumble in the Jungle fight in 1974, but his professional boxing career boosted 68 knockouts, almost double that of Ali. He lost 5 bouts over his career. Foreman won his first World Heavyweight Championship in 1973, and according to reports, they say that then he did it again in 1994 when he was 45 years old. He retired from the sport in 1997, and his family came out and said in a post on Instagram on Friday night that our hearts are really broken. A devout preacher, a devoted husband, a loving father, and a proud grand and great grandfather. He lived a life marked by unwavering faith, humility, and purpose. The statement added, a humanitarian, an Olympian, and 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. He was deeply respected, a force for good, a man of discipline, conviction, and a protector of his legacy, fighting tirelessly to preserve his good name for his family. He was described in an Instagram post as a legend, and while he was a household name in the athletic career, Foreman also became a well-known for his iconic George Foreman grill, which millions have purchased over the decades since it hit the market in 1994. Foreman has a dozen of children. 5 of his sons are named George. He explained on his website that he named them after him so that they would always have something in common. Rest in power, the king. And of course, we are sending our prayers to the family, friends, and the fans.